It's now time to move on to the next happiness drive for the day. May I request on stage someone very, very dear to me, someone have had chance to spend time with and learn with, someone whom I've grown together with as well, the very young, very handsome, charming and dynamic Karan Bell. He is the founder of and Chief Happiness Officer for Haptitude. Please come.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. I know the next one is your tea break and I'm just standing in between. So I'll make sure that you don't have to look at your watch for the tea break. So I'm going to talk about the workplace happiness blueprint, but why am I here and what is my authority to speak on this subject? For that I would like to give you a little background of what we do. So we are a company called Haptitude and I'm the founder and Chief Happiness Officer of this company. We founded this company in 2012 with a single objective of bringing happiness at the workplace. And now, I think initial years, we faced a lot of struggles when we used to go to companies and they used to ask us, okay, what do you do? We say, we work in the space of happiness. They used to think we are comedians. And in fact, we were asked to do some kind of stand-up comedy and all. So, but now I think last three and a half years, and I think today when we have this kind of conference happening here, people are coming and attending, this is something, as a big transformation in the understanding of people. Perception about workplace happiness. So we work with more than now 150 companies. Now we have touched 75,000 lives from 35-40 countries now. Some of the numbers that says, so we have trained certified happiness coaches, more than 750 from 35 plus countries. We have helped a lot of companies to build their happiness initiative at their workplace. All kind of companies, finance to startups to telecom. We, in fact, in the other room, when in the morning I was sitting there and there's one of our clients, they were giving presentation that how bringing this happiness culture at their workplace has, really brought much revenue and the staff retention and other things. So I'm not going to talk much on these areas because since morning I think you've been listening to this, that how happiness is good for the work. But just to give you some numbers that, we build happiness index for the people. We've been featured in BBC World and designed and delivered certification courses and with many universities. But that's not the intention why I'm here today. And that's probably not the intention to even talk about it, but just to give you the reason why I talked about is to give you a background that when we started this and we were struggling and we realized that there was something fundamentally which was not okay in our approach. And whenever now we look back the last 3.5 to 4 years when we kind of did a lot of work, I realized that this is one idea which or maybe the realization which made us do all these things. Sometimes it's very difficult, words have very less power to to express the real emotions, so I really find it difficult to articulate. So is it okay if I tell you a story? Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story which is like the biggest hindrance which we realized. So this is a story of a monk in the 5th century. He was a monk and he had a lot of followers at that time. And one day he was 82 years of age and he said, I want to give my last sermon. I want to give my last lecture. I don't know when will I leave this body because I'm at that age now that I can leave this body anytime. But before I do that, I want to meet everyone again, once again, all the followers. So the the news spread like wildfire. Everybody just came to this place called Tibet. So the day came when thousands of people came from all across the globe, whatever means of transportation they could find. Somebody came walking, somebody took some horse cart or something, whatever means of transportation was available at that time. Now the day came when this monk was standing there under the banyan tree. So he was standing under the banyan tree and there were thousands of people there. Now how these monks are so humble, with their hands folded like this. So he came and stood here in front of the audience. And he realized, that there are a lot of people who have a lot of curiosity that what is he going to say. He looked at everyone with a single glance from right to left and then left to right. And then he comes and he bows down to the audience. Like his usual practice is that he gets onto his knees, he bows down to his audience. He always do it once. But this was a different time, and audience saw him doing it for the second time. He again bowed down. He bowed down and then come up. Then for the third time, he again bowed down and stays there. Now this time, when he bows down, he stays there for a little longer. He doesn't come back. And after a few seconds, people realize that he's crying. He's crying like a little baby. Now, let's say you are part of that audience and you've been following this master from last so many years, and your master is crying here. It's very difficult to gather your courage to go and approach someone and ask that what has happened to you. So people were wondering, and they were like, they don't know how to approach, right? And then some of the disciples who were there in the front row, they approached the master and they said, "Master, what is the matter? Why are you crying like this?" And then he says that over the last so many years, I have given you a lot of teachings, a lot of methods, a lot of tools to help you become better, right? Now I am 82 years of age and I don't know when will I leave this body, so I don't want to carry this guilt with me. And the guilt that I am carrying with me is that all these tools, methods that I have given you are all big lie. Those all tools were lies. I have been, playing around with your mind all this while, and now I don't want to carry this with me. Now suppose you are part of that audience. What would be your reaction? What would be your reaction? Anything? Confusion? Okay. How would you respond in this situation? You would like to kill him, right? Somebody got angry and shout at him, throw this man out of the country. He just played with our mind, right? Then there's some other kind of responses also who are waiting. Maybe master has some lesson to give which we're not able to get, so they are waiting. Then there are third kind of people who don't want to talk about it, but they start gossiping around and they say, I've come from so far, I've been following him 35 years, this and that, all those kind of things. And the people who are waiting, and they approached him again. And they say, "Master, we think you're trying to give us some lesson which we are not able to get. Could you please tell us that what is that you're trying to teach us?" And he says, "No, I've been playing with your mind for so many years that's why you still feel there's something, there's nothing." They have no choice now. Some people start to leave, and very soon there were very few people who were standing there who were still waiting for the master to say something. And then they decide and they approach the master once again. And they say, "Master, okay, whatever you're saying, we agree to that. Okay? You've been playing with our mind. Whatever tools you have given, you have been lying to us all this while. But why is that whenever we come to you, there's a certain sense of peace that we get. There's some serenity that we get when we are around you. We feel there's one thing that you know and we don't know yet." And that is the time when master smiles. And he smiles and he says that the one thing that I know and you don't know is that you are already whole and complete. You are already whole and complete. So if you are whole and complete, how can you be better? You're already whole and complete. Now that's the biggest hindrance that we have. When we go and work with people, they are whole and complete. Each one of you in this room, you are whole and complete. If I am whole and complete, you are whole and complete, how can I teach you something more? How can I make you better? I can't make you better, right? But these are the same people who go to the workplace thinking that they are not whole and complete. Maybe more salary will make them whole and complete. Maybe a validation from the boss will make them whole and complete. Maybe doing a project independently will make them whole and complete. Because all these things they are not doing it because they really want to do it and make an impact on the world. They want to do it because they feel complete within themselves. Whereas on the level of being, if they are already whole and complete, these all things are not needed. And I think this is one approach when we realize that this is not the approach we want to take. Looking at people at their weaknesses, their doubts and all those things, touching people with an experience where they experience their own wholeness and completeness. So what is that in between that stopped them from experiencing their wholeness and completeness for all the time? And then we realized the purpose that we have as an organization. Our purpose is not to make people happy, though we are a happiness company. Our purpose is not to make people happy. How can we make someone happy? Our purpose is to create inner space. We help people to create inner space for blossoming. For example, it's like, I want you to imagine a rose. How do you grow a rose? A flower. How do you grow a flower? You don't grow a flower. You just put the sapling, the seed, and then you nurture, you water it, you do these kind of things. And then slowly you see it start coming up. And one day it becomes full-fledged flower, complete rose. What is your contribution in that? You have no contribution in the blossoming itself. Yes, you have a contribution in the process. Right? So this is what we do. We do not make organizations happy or people happy. We work on the process. We work on the process. And why we can work on the process? Because we help clear these emotional clouds in the head, where people don't see each other as whole and complete. They see each other as set of identities. First identity that they see at each other as, oh, you are a male, you are a female. 50% of the thing is over there itself. Now I expect you to behave in a certain way and do certain things in a certain way, and that's where the whole thing starts. And probably the time when we were born, this is how we were. It was declared that, oh, a boy is born or a girl is born. And this is how we keep on adding, this is from this religion, this caste, this creed, all those things, right? Now, it's very important to, get this context before I talk further. So that's why, I thought the story can tell you the real feelings that we have. But a lot of people don't believe in that, right? And meet Milton. He didn't believe in that. He just quit his job. Who is Milton? The office space thing? Okay. So Milton just now quit his job. Why he quit his job? Because he was unhappy. Why do people quit their job? He was unhappy because unlike your bosses, his boss was paying in the wrong place. Yeah. And he was really frustrated with his boss, and so he quit his job. But Milton failed to realize that he quit his last job also because of his colleagues, and the job before that because he was getting better salary here. And when he joined this organization, he was very happy, thinking that he made the best decision. And every time, not the one time, every 3 times he thought he's made the best decision, every time he's facing the same thing. And Milton also forgot to realize that this is not new to him. Even in childhood, he had to change his 3 schools because he was bullied around. Everything changed, sceneries changed, emotions changed, times changed, situations changed, everything changed. Just one thing remained common with him all the time, that feeling of weak and insufficient deep within. Is it about the boss? No, it's not about the boss. Is it about the job? It's not about the job. Is it about the salary? It's not about the salary. In all the things, Milton also forgot to realize there's one other common thing, and that is Milton himself. Now, who is this Milton? I know you know a lot of such Milton with different name, creed, background, gender, name, nationalities. Maybe you are one of the Milton, right? Trying to do something different in life, maybe this time it will work. Whether it's career, a relationship. But the problem is we are looking outside all the time. All the time trying to think that maybe something out there will change and then everything will be fine. The day comes, and that day will definitely come, but that would be the last day, and then it's the end. Then it will be too late. When I think about him, there is one character from this side, our east, from India, comes to my mind. And who's this guy? People who are from India, they already know him. Those who are not, let me just give you a little context. This is the most important scene from the biggest poetry story with about 200,000 verses. The poetry, the longest poetry ever written, 1.8 million words, hundreds of characters. Each scene by scene, it is depicted in the form of a poetry. Now, this is about 2 families, 2 set of brothers, cousin brothers, fighting for a kingdom. Now, this guy who's sitting on his knees there is a guy named Arjun, and he's bowing down to the divine entity. His name is Krishna, the god Krishna. Now this guy, this is the most important scene. Why this is the most important scene? Critical time, the war is about to begin, the biggest war ever. The war is about to begin. This guy is the most talented one. He is the best archer of his time. He's got all the skills, all the abilities and the resources. You know, he's so powerful that with one arrow, he can just kill the whole army. He has that kind of capabilities, he has that kind of resources. But you know how he's sitting there? He's feeling lost. He doesn't want to fight. He said, I can't fight. I don't want to fight. Now, do you think confidence will help him? No, he is full of confidence. In fact, he needs little less confidence. You know, he's full of that. He doesn't need resources. He is best of the resources. He doesn't need more talent and skill. He is best in the field. He doesn't need anything else, right? But there is a one very interesting concept in Indian context. You know, in English language, winning means winning over someone. In Hindi, in Sanskrit, there's a word, there are two words for that, that is Jaya and Vijaya. Jaya is your internal victory and Vijaya is your external victory. If you don't have Jaya, without Jaya, you cannot have Vijaya. Without internal victory, you cannot win externally, right? Even if you do, even if you win externally, you will be mess in the world. You will be mess in the world because you don't have internal capabilities to manage your own self. So you take, that's what the problem with a lot of leaders are today. That they are winning outside, maybe because of the situation, circumstance and their talent, but internally, they're not winning the battle. So that's where this Jaya Vijaya concept comes in. Now in this case, the best thing happened is, this guy, Arjun, went and became vulnerable to Krishna. How many of us has created a culture in the organization where it is okay to be vulnerable, right? In fact, it happens, you know, especially in India, if you go to your boss, you know, who you think is your friend also maybe sometimes, you go and tell him your vulnerable side, you know, he'll make fun of you. That's why people don't want to do and talk to him also. It's so insensitive that he goes and talk about him with his boss. So that tomorrow things don't happen, his boss already knows that it's not because of him, it's because of his vulnerable colleague. Things have not happened. So when you don't create a culture where people have the atmosphere or culture to be who they are, to be vulnerable, this is not going to happen. Companies come to us, biggest companies in India, you know, they come to us and, you know, they say, oh, we want to build a culture of inclusiveness. Inclusivity is a very, very, very inward. We say, okay, you know, the foundation of the two pillars of inclusiveness. We said what? We said compassion and vulnerability. Are you interested in building a culture of compassion? Don't talk about vulnerability at our workplace. Don't even use this word. And we go to companies, we build vulnerability without even naming it. Right? You have to be smart enough. You have to build vulnerability, because without vulnerability, people will not be receptive. Now, vulnerability is not about crying and all. Now, let's say, being the leader of the organization, I come here and I say, guys, I don't know what to do and I think I've messed up. Can you help me coming up with a solution? I come here, talk to you, vulnerable. Do you think I need courage, or a coward can come and stand and talk like this? So vulnerability needs a lot of courage. A lot of people don't have it. That 4-letter word, that ball of steel is needed, right? People don't have it. So that's why, you know, they don't want to talk about it, but they want to talk about the branding inclusivity, because everyone talking about inclusiveness, right? Otherwise, deep inside, if you ask them, do you really have an intention? It's very difficult to, you know, bring them even to this conversation. So you have to play smart. So we have this framework. So we say, what is this happy workplace then? A happy workplace is where people find meaning, connection and growth. That's what a happy workplace is. People find meaning, connection and growth. Few generations back, people are going to the work because the meaning was simple. I want money so that I can buy my house, I can get my car, I can get my children educated. Clear, meaning was clear. You know, but the problem is now this generation who's going to the workplace, the stomach is full now. You know, they have this basic home and the basic facility, basic lifestyle, they have it. Now the purpose or this meaning has become more complicated issue today, right? but still everybody wants to feel connected to someone. The authentic connections in the team. Then whatever we do in life, what is the intention? The intention is to grow, to evolve to the next level. If people are getting these three things at the workplace, this is what we create, this is what we call a happy workplace, and this is what we create. Now for that, as I said, we don't talk about the word vulnerability. Now we recently started talking about it. But the framework, which we have, now this is not just our framework, we are in collaboration with a few international partners. We are in partnership, we are in collaboration with institute called Berkeley Institute of Wellbeing, California, then Delivering Happiness, the Zappos company. So we do a lot of programs. In fact, Kananan has attended one of our session there. So we have come up with this model based on all the understanding and design, especially for our Asia market. The first element of this is self-expression. In Hindi, human being is called Vyakti. Vyakt karna, to express, is the basic need that human being has. Now, how are they expressing nowadays? The expression is not happening through the talking because they are staying alone. A lot of people are staying alone. Even if they're staying with a spouse, they don't talk. They don't talk. They pretend they're busy. And they have an opportunity to, pretend that they're busy and not talk to each other. And they don't have great friends at work or places, people don't talk. In fact, earlier when we used to go to find some new place, we used to ask, chai wala, rickshaw wala, oh, can you tell me where this place is? Can you tell me? We used to shout from our car. Now we have Google lady talking to us all the time. But we are not talking to the Google lady. We are talking internally, within us. You used to, we place an order through Swiggy, Uber and all those things. They come, you don't have to call somebody to check where the cab has reached and all. So what is happening as communication is going down, but we are communicating within ourselves. So all the energy which was supposed to go out is just going inside. Now when you don't have a proper, if you are not meditative, you don't have the meditation in your life on day-to-day basis, this energy will go all over the place and it will, ruin you. In fact, there's a saying in gospel which says that what is within you, if you bring forth what is within you, will grow you, help you grow. But what is within you, if you don't bring forth, it will shrink you from inside. Right? So when it's not coming out, it's just damaging inside. That's why people are not, they are full of anger and frustration and all those things. You see it on the road all the time. Right? Self-expression is also about, how I can express through my work. People express it through TikTok, the videos, some nonsense videos they make, and everybody likes them because the expression, the nonsense things which are happening is because people are not getting expression at the workplace or even their family, right? In India, since childhood, we are trained always not to say what we want to say, otherwise what will other person think? You just can't wear like this, you have to dress nicely because uncle is going to come home. So self-expression is not about self, it's about others all the time. And when you have a self-expression, you feel connected. The second factor is connectedness. I have authentic connection with the person with whom I don't have to think what I want to think, whether I should say this or not. I don't have to think whether I wear this, I say this, I be this, I don't be this. That's where we build authentic connection, when you have a self-expression. And when you don't have self-expression, there's no authentic connection that can happen. Because it's transactions. We go to companies, we build this, this is one fundamental work we do. Build authentic connection, and people say, how is it possible? We say, give us your people for a few hours. We'll tell you how to build authentic connections. Then we have tools, we design some cards and many other different things which people use it before the meetings and many different things where they build expression zones in the organizations to build this connectedness and self-expression. Then the sense of control. Now people today are emotionally very delicate. So if they don't, if today when they want, initially it used to happen that they had this joint family system and the religious mindset where, okay, God will take care of me. That is also gone away now. They know there's no God taking care of me. They want to take care of everything on their own. So now the sense of control is needed even more. Probably that's why the flexi hours and all those things are part of the sense of control thing. Sense of growth, everybody wants to grow in the organization. So that is something which is the fourth element, and then the fifth one is obviously the meaning part of it. Now, do we need a lot of things? I mean, do we need to spend a lot of money on it? No, you just need to have an intention and the right kind of leadership who's aligned to this idea, right? There are a lot of companies whom we have helped, very, very low budget, just intention. The right set of intention is needed, right? So how do we do that? So there are a lot of things that we have, like we have this workplace happiness toolkit, we set up this wall, we do these workshops, lot of things. There are many ways to do it. There are many ways to do it. Now that is not something which I'm going to get into. I'm going to give you one link. There's a free ebook download that you can have from this link, wherein you want to know what is a roadmap to workplace happiness, the case studies, what are the toolkits, what 3 different kind of happiness initiatives that we can have, with the initiative which are like short term but immediate impact, but the low sustainability, some initiative which has got the more sustainability, what different kind of initiative are there, that all you can see it from the book. Now, with all this, I just want to end my presentation with one very small with very small remark which I want to make here, is that today, whether we do it today or we do it tomorrow, it's anyways going to happen. People are going, you initially resist, but then slowly happiness at work has to come, because there are 2 ways people do anything in their life. Either they are wise, they do it out of the wisdom, or they are wounded, right? It's better you do it now, you'll be doing it out of your wisdom. Otherwise, you will be wounded as an organization or as an individual. Then life will force you to a point where you will have to do it. So that, with this note, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.